So we got Ryan calling in right now. We'll talk about your fleshy eyebrow thing later on.
Perfect.
I can't talk today.
I know.
Captain Ryan Jones.
How's it going, Joe Hector?
I am just living the goddamn dream, my friend. How are you?
Damn right.
I hear that. I'm doing the same, an hour behind you now.
Yeah, you went through the whole move. Just so people can understand, Ryan actually just left South Florida, which is a shame. He is the Kayak Doctor, and he's a staple at the extreme events. You know, someone breaks something, he's there to fix it right away, and he helps us with tagging all the kayaks. But yeah, Ryan, it's sad to see you go, man. But how did all that move? How did all of it go?
Doing really good. We were able to close and purchase on the house a couple of weeks ago, and getting settled in. I'm actually heading out on my first fishing trip since I've been back this evening, which I'm super excited about, and starting to get things going, working with Live Water Sports and get paddle sports here in Oklahoma and surrounding territories growing just like they are down there in South Florida.
So you already got a job lined up and all that, huh?
I do, yeah. I had some stuff lined up before I left.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, like I said, it's sad to see you go. I'm sure Nautical Ventures is really sad to see you go, considering you just sold a $10,000 kayak. $10,000. Yep. So I got to ask. All right, let's just dive. And by the way, Freddie's with me right now. He's mute right now.
What up, Ryan?
He was sleeping.
Dude,
I just woke him up.
I wasn't sleeping.
Howdy, Chris.
I was just
chilling, chillaxing, you know?
So what happens, Ryan, is a lot of people will be like, there's two different arguments I hear, like, hey, dude, why don't you just buy a boat? It's because you can't afford a boat that you paddle a kayak or whatever. You know, the haters, the kayak haters will say, oh, you guys just do that because you can't afford a boat. And then there's guys who say, dude, if you spend that much money on a kayak, like, you might as well just get a boat. So kind of run us through, like, what exactly this kayak was, like, what did the guy get, and then, like, some of the reasons why he got what he got rather than just getting a boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So this customer actually, this was his retirement gift for himself. He just retired, and he went through and sold a few things, and he just wanted to spoil himself. He enjoys kayak fishing and wanted to take it to the next level and start fishing kind of the national tournament scene for freshwater and inshore. And he had the option of boats, just not his thing. For a lot of us that know what it feels like to be in a kayak battling that massive fish, enjoying those sleigh rides, it's just a different feel. It's not that boating or kayaking is better. It's a completely different experience. So this was just a gift to himself, and he wants to be competitive. So just like when you spend $10,000 on a kayak, that's like buying a $40,000 boat, then putting a $40,000 motor on it, and then putting $7,000 worth of electronics on it. I mean, you don't need that no matter what vessel you're in.
Right. Yeah. Now, when he bought all this stuff, like, at first, was this like a 2-day thing, or did this all happen in one day, or, was this something that was kind of building up? Was he a solid customer there? And what accessories did he get? I mean, how did this whole thing kind of amount to $10K?
So this was a walk-in customer.
Really?
That saw some.
Wow.
Lucky Ryan for that. Lucky for you getting that up.
A walk-in.
Well, we did work for it. So I've got multiple videos of other kayaks out there, ranging anywhere from about $6,000 to $10,000. My most expensive build to date was a Hobie Pro Angler 14 for $14,000. So I've got kind of the name in the history, and Nautical Ventures does a phenomenal job of advertising and marketing. So he was able to find my video, came in, was able to answer me by name, and then sit down, and we just discussed exactly what he wanted to do and what options were open there for him. And I educated him. He picked exactly what he wanted on there, and then we started the ordering process.
Did he ask for Ryan Jones or the Kayak Doctor?
Some people, I can't remember what you asked for. I have people ask for both.
That's awesome. So
the
this
Kayak
guy,
Doctor, a lot of times it goes hand in hand.
so this guy bought a Pro Angler, right?
Yep. Yeah, I bought a Pro Angler 14.
Okay, and I would guess he decked it out with all the electronics, fish finder, sonar, the whole
Everything.
thing, and then a micro power pole, maybe a motor. Like, what? How did it get to 10 grand?
Actually, this guy was known. Most of my installs, they're doing both power poles and motors, especially my more expensive builds. This gentleman actually invested most of his money into electronics. He actually had the largest sonar system I've installed on a kayak to date. He put a Lowrance HDS Carbon 9 with a 0.1 antenna. Between that and the battery to power that, you're looking at $3,000 just for the sonar system.
So he spent like 4 grand on his kayak and then 3 grand on his electronics. So he's
This is not even including all of the fishing equipment.
Yeah, he's not even fishing yet. Holy shit.
No, yeah, that's not even fishing. That's rod holders, Boondocks landing gear for the wheels, Supernova fishing LED lights for night fishing.
Wow.
He got the Yak Power relay system, so everything's on its own little panel inside the rectangular hatch, real quick and easy. It's got dual USB chargers on it.
Stereo system?
He doesn't. He had a little Bluetooth speaker put on there. We didn't do any aftermarket stereo system on there. He got the marine mat, which is really popular nowadays on there. So that package alone is $400 for the marine mat. So, but definitely helps with dampening noise, and it makes the kayak just look sexy.
Now, let me ask you this. So, where do you see? And this is kind of where it makes me think. So, I after the iCast, right? Some angler left a comment on Facebook on the sport of kayak fishing, and basically, he without getting too elaborate, he basically said that he thinks that, you know, from what he's seeing, that it you know, it's kind of like eating itself. In some ways, I agree.
Yeah, getting out of hand.
Yeah, it's getting like out of hand. And in some ways, I do agree because I've seen it personally. I mean, running events is not easy with these guys, and you know, and they know that, you know. So, but
yeah.
But it makes me think you got a guy, a walk-in that's going in a store, dropping $10,000, you know, like that, on kayak fishing. So, you know, you look at that aspect, and you're saying to yourself, man, I mean, it's growing. I mean, people are really starting to drop some money, but where's the max? Like, when does it get to, like, you know, buying a boat versus buying a kayak, or where does it get to that max price where, you know, in the beginning when someone like me started, it was like we did it because it was cheap. We did it to save money, but you're kind of seeing it, you're kind of seeing it change. So, like, where do you see it going? Like, what does something like that tell you?
Well, my philosophy in this sport is there's a place and time for everybody and everything. There's been, you know, I come from a background of owning $200 Craigslist kayaks that were sit insides, and the rod holders were my thighs. You know, when boats were driving by me, laughing, going, "That's not a boat; it ain't got a motor on it." So the whole kayak fishing industry started by making products for guys like me. They're like, "Hey, we know you're in this little kayak. It's not made for fishing, but you're going to do it anyways. You'll love it. This sport's been around forever, even though people think it's new." So they hit that market first. Then they started working for all your shoreline fishermen that wanted to get a little bit further out on the water. Once they hit that market, the prices of the kayaks started going up.
Right.
The reason I think what you're seeing the trend is I'm taking, when I was at Nautical Ventures, even when I was in Oklahoma at the kayak shops, I was taking boat sales away from boat dealers by selling them a kayak.
Really?
The kayak industry is got so many accessories and so many options that people are considering. They're like, for a down payment on a boat that I'm going to use 12 times a year, I have to fuel, winterize, I have to have access to a boat ramp. I can buy this tricked out kayak that is sick, and I can put it anywhere at any time, and there's hardly any maintenance afterwards.
Yeah.
So a lot of the kayak fishing industry now, the reason you see it going in the direction it is because they're actually targeting the boat world.
And I agree with you, because when the way we set up our tournaments was targeting the boat world. I mean, we modeled our tournaments after boat tournaments, not kayak tournaments. And that's what made us so successful. Yep. And that's why we're getting a lot of boaters like Benny Sosa, you know, like all these guys that are switching over, or not even really switching over, but they're doing both.
Yeah.
They're competing in both, you know? So I agree with you. I see it.
Benny's a double threat.
Yes.
Dual threat.
Dual threat.
Twin threat.
Yes.
No, and you know, I always
Duo
tell
threat.
people, you know, a kayak can go everywhere a boat can go, and everywhere a boat can't go.
I like
It
that.
may take you longer, but you can get there.
That's why they call you the
and
doctor.
you have people of, you know, it's kind of the, you know, it's not necessarily, I always used to call kayak fishing the poor man's sport. Nowadays, it's not so much the poor man's sport.
No,
you know,
no.
people are like, well, why are they spending that much money when they can buy a boat? Well, you also have to realize the market I just came from in South Florida, the economy is doing really, really well there. So, you know, if I'm having somebody buy a $12,000 kayak, the last one I did for $12,000 for a Pro Angler 12 went onto the swim deck of a yacht.
Wait, so wait, hold on. So you
they
sold a
probably
kayak
won't-
for 12 grand as well?
He wasn't listening to you when you said that the $10,000 one wasn't the most expensive one you've done.
No, I just didn't
No,
catch
it's
that.
it's probably in the top 8. So
Yeah, people spend much more
probably
than
have
12 grand.
Well, I just didn't think
my
he
average
was doing
Pro
it
Angler
consistently.
sells is about $7,000-8,000.
Yeah, because it requires like a new pickup truck to tow it around. You gotta take out a loan on a truck to get that thing to the right. Maybe she go down.
So
to the river.
no, Freddie can't talk.
Dang.
You're done.
You gotta buy a truck to get it to the river. Holy shit!
So
I can't. I don't even want to tell you how much I have in my Live Water Sports paddleboard.
Oh, dude, but your stereo system costs like 17 grand.
what? All right, so let's do this. Let's add up your little banger. So, how much total? I mean, would you say you put into this paddleboard? I would say 10
if
grand.
you took and added all my accessories, rod holders, stereo system. I've got an electric motor. Now I have an outboard motor for it. If you add everything up, I had it set up for taking the life to the sandbar with the dog, a 45-quart cooler and a speaker system and a power pole. I have it set up for freshwater tournaments. I have it set up for inshore fishing and offshore fishing. So basically, the wife told me I couldn't buy a boat, so I turned my paddleboard into a micro skiff. If you added at the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show last year, a customer had me add everything up on that board, and it was just under $10,000.
That's not that bad.
I just added a couple $1,000s worth of accessories to it right before I left, so now everything for my paddleboard's probably right at about $12,000 retail.
But see, this is what we're learning. We're learning that these people are spending money. I mean, including yourself. You're spending money on paddleboards, kayaks, the accessories, everything. I mean, even when you buy the kayak, you got all these accessories. And you know, when you walk up and down these extreme tournaments, you're seeing over 100 kayaks. Everyone's different. Everyone's full of different accessories. So, yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. So, yeah, man, we wanted you to call in and just we had to hear about this, and you know, we know there's quite a bit of debate in it. I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great for, you know, myself and my sponsors and our tournament. And it's great to see the growth and how it's still, you know, growing really well. And man, it's awesome. I mean, the whole thing.
I love it.
We love it.
I love it.
We love you,
Absolutely.
Ryan.
It's a blast.
We love
it's
you.
It's only going to grow from here.
I agree. 100%.
I miss you guys already.
We miss you too, buddy. Hey, listen, we got to go, but we really miss you, Ryan. And you were, and I'm not just saying this, you were honestly a staple of our tournament series with all the stuff that you've done, whether it was competing and you know, in the Sailfish event and doing what you did there and helping these guys with nautical ventures with their, you know, anything that was broken, with helping me in the morning personally with a bunch of stuff. I really appreciate it. And you're the man, dude.
I appreciate it. It was an absolute blast, and hopefully I'll be seeing you guys not too long from now.
Yeah, come back for the SummerSlam, brother. We'll see you then.
I hope to see you, buddy.
All righty. Take care. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
Later,
See you, brother.